Well, welcome to a Trekzone conversation. I am very excited by having today's guest with me, who is in Australia for Supanova in Sydney. It is Captain Pike himself, Anson Mount. And Anson, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to jump up on the desk and say, "Oh, Captain, my Captain."
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
What's this Star Trek journey been like for you?
Oh, man. It's just been, it was just surreal from the beginning. I was a Trekkie growing up, and then to suddenly be playing Pike and walking on the bridge and wearing the gold and sitting in the chair, it's just crazy. Star Trek was my make-believe game as a kid, and to realize that I've come full circle and I'm still doing the same thing, it's either incredibly romantic or it's incredibly sad, and I haven't decided which.
Well, there was a video at last year's Star Trek Las Vegas convention where you took the captain's chair on the original series Enterprise.
Yeah. I love that video because I thought I was gonna be really cool and slick, and because it starts with me saying to the camera, "I'm about to get to do something I never thought I was going to get to do, and you're about to watch me do it." And then I go and I sit in the original chair, and I just become stupid. I'm just dumb, and I'm just looking around because I've never. So few people get to see that bridge, that set, from that point of view, and it's so cool.
Now, coming on board Discovery with the second season, getting a full season to develop this character that we only ever met in one episode and a two-parter there in the very beginning of Star Trek. How did you embrace that, and how did you make that character your own?
Well, fortunately or unfortunately, there was not a lot of source material. I just said in an interview the other day, I don't know of a single revered character in the Star Trek canon that we know so little or knew so little about. So it was simultaneously horrifying that there was so little to go on, but also freeing that I wasn't beholden to a whole other iteration of Pike.
And in one episode there, Melissa George came on board the show to reprise Vina.
Yeah.
She's obviously a talented Australian actress. There's another character as well that we know so little about, but obviously is such an integral part of Pike. How was that episode in the experience and building this, the character of Pike?
Well, we shot that scene in the ready room the day we met. And fortunately for me, Melissa was just very, very easy to work with and imaginative and creative and laid back. And I had an absolute pleasure working with her. I really appreciate the writers. The writers could have taken Pike and played it very safe, and they made some very bold choices, obviously. And I think that the ways in which they filled out the character were quite brilliant, particularly when I heard that they were going to explore Pike's future, I was like, okay, how are you going to do that? And then when I saw the script, I was bowled over by how smart it was to take what we had considered always a tragic ending, and then to make it an active choice, in which then turns it into a kind of character triumph. I just thought that was amazing.
I think I know the answer to this question, but were you surprised with the fan reaction to you as Pike, as this captain that sort of came in? Discovery was finding its feet in some of the fandom, and along comes Anson Mount as Pike and just instantly becomes one of the cult classic characters and the portrayals in the franchise. Were you prepared for the way the fans reacted?
No. I was not prepared for it at all. I've never had a reaction to anything I've done in my entire career like this. It's also a different kind of fan base than I've ever played to before. So you have to take that into consideration. But I'm just so humbled by the support that I've received from the fan base, and it feels great because, you know, when you're shooting a TV show, you're kind of shooting in a vacuum, and it was 8 long months, really not knowing how anything was going to land, and being the new kid in school and all of that. It feels great.
And especially the streaming service, obviously the way that Discovery has been produced well in advance of broadcast. Holding on to all of those spoilers that you know, and you know exactly what's happening with the character. How does that feel in someone that's very active with their own podcast and on social media as well, to keep that all in and just watch the fans speculate and guess and see how it all unfolds week to week? Is that how is that? Is that a thrill?
I kind of try not to delve too far into that, because it can just be endless, for one, and also I kind of want my work to stand on its own and just let's see what happens when it gets out there. But invariably, because there are so many people speculating, there's quite often people who predict very specific things, and that's been interesting to watch. But look, I'm whether it's support or it's criticism or it's speculation, all of that is so much better than people not caring. You know, there's nothing worse than mediocrity. I'd so much rather get criticism than people not care.
Well, I don't think there was any criticism for you. In fact, there was a petition to have your own show. If CBS saw the light and decided to greenlight Star Trek Pike, would you be on board?
In the abstract, of course. You know, like, I mean, it's kind of, I love playing the character. I love the franchise. I love the people I worked with. I love the crew. Shooting in a soundstage is difficult for me, I gotta say. That's not my favorite. I prefer to do westerns where I'm outside a lot, but that's just one drawback of many, many, many positives. So yeah, in the abstract, yes, but obviously, you know, there are a lot of creative conversations that need to go on at much higher levels than my own. And then there were just, you know, there's a lot of factors that go into making things like this happen. And these aren't easy decisions. They're big financial long-term plan decisions.
Absolutely. Well, you will be at Star Trek Las Vegas. Tickets are available right now for folks that haven't got them yet, and I'm looking forward to hopefully catching you there during Trekzone's Vegas or Bust tour. But lastly today, Anson, let's plug your podcast.
Thank you. My podcast is called The Well, and it's about creativity and thinking outside the box, and we come at it from as many different directions as possible. We have interviews with, for instance, Alice Cooper about golf. He almost went pro. Bet you didn't know that.
Wow.
to Doug Vakoch, who left SETI, which is, you know, searching for extraterrestrial intelligence, and he started METI, which is messaging extraterrestrial intelligence. So we kind of come at creative questions from as many different angles as possible. It's on all major platforms as well as our website, thewellpod.com.
And it is fantastic listening. I have just started, so I have episode 1 ready to go.
All right.
And I'm going to definitely dive deep into The Well, and I'll be able to have a deep discussion with you in Vegas.
All right, that sounds good, man. I'll look forward to it.
Fantastic. Anson Mount, thank you so much for your time today on Trekzone, and enjoy the rest of Supanova.
All right, brother. Take care.
Trekzone membership is getting even better as we roll past the middle of 2019. You'll now get extended cuts of the podcasts, starting with Friday's chat with senior storyteller at NASA, Elizabeth Landau, as well as exclusive behind-the-scenes info and access to premiere eps of the show ahead of the world. Jump over to patreon.com/TrekZoneorg.au. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course here on YouTube and your favourite podcasting platform. Subscribe, like, follow, all that stuff. Leave comments. Let's have a chat. Oh, and don't forget to give this app a thumbs up. It just makes us feel good on the inside. A huge thanks to Lionel with Supanova for lining up this chat for me. It was a blast. I hope y'all had fun too. We'll see each other again on the next Trekzone podcast.